So it makes it narrower at higher frequencies, or it makes it more directional at higher frequencies, if you like. So you end up with the kind of best of both worlds. You've got the low frequency performance of a true omnidirectional microphone and a little bit of directivity like a cardioid microphone. Now, when you start using them in stereo pairs, that means you can angle the microphones apart from each other, and you now get level difference between the two channels, as well as timing difference between the two channels. And that gives you lots of options when it comes to creating stereo images. And it's a nice thing. It really is a nice thing. It's well engineered. It actually uses a third-party electret capsule in the sphere itself. And then there's some electronics in the XLR plug that balance the output and give you a phantom power option to power the thing. It's just nicely engineered, and it sounds very good. And it's very affordable compared to most alternatives that do the same thing. And I made some really nice recordings with it. So yeah, that was good. Well engineered, unusual microphone.
Now, I'm in the kind of situation where most of the products I'd like to talk about I've reviewed, but the reviews haven't yet appeared in print. But I can mention a few of them just briefly, and then we'll skip on to one of Hugh's next favourites. One of the things I really like is the new version of Drop Pad. It's a contact-based instrument that allows you to blend 4 samples in a dynamic way, but it also does the dynamic phasing and morphing between the effects as well, so you can get something that evolves over quite a long period without ever seeming to repeat. Now, the thing about the third version of Drop Pad is that it's now available for the free contact player, which opens up the market quite a lot. They've also added a completely new sound library, but if you've got the older versions, you can still use the old samples and bring those into your new presets and combine them with the new ones. So it's very, very flexible. I really like it. It's not expensive, which as an expatriate Yorkshireman I really appreciate, and worth checking out. The other thing I really like, and I've only just tried this, it's from Red Panda, and it's a ring modulator called the Radius. Now, most times I've played with a ring modulator, and great, you can make a sound a bit like a Dalek, or if you turn the modulation rate right down, you can get a kind of chorusy, phasey, vibrato-y, wobbly thing going on. But I've really struggled to get anything musical out of them, because really it creates a lot of atonal sidebands. The Radius is a little different. First of all, you've got a continuously variable control where you can go between ring modulation and frequency shifting, either frequency shifting down or frequency shifting up, which again makes a lot of strange atonal noises. But the really cool thing is that the modulation oscillator can be set to track in parallel to the pitch of whatever you're playing into the thing. So if you can dial in a sound that sounds really good on one note, which is usually quite easy to do on a ring modulator, then it will sound good over a series of notes, because as you play, the settings will follow you, and the harmonic relationships, or the inharmonic relationships, will actually stay consistent. So I'd like to say it's probably the first ring modulator I've ever tried that I thought could actually make music.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. I've not heard this one, but it sounds intriguing.
It is. We can have a look later.
All right, I look forward to that. Excellent.
The other device that I really like is a pedal from Source Audio in the States, and this is called the Encounter. And in terms of hardware, it's exactly the same as their Collider pedal. And the Collider pedal is a dual reverb delay, and this is also a dual reverb delay. The difference is that the software in this is designed to produce ambient reverbs and ambient delays, so there's all a bit of weirdness going on, and you can also combine 2 delays or 2 reverbs if you want to. So we've got things like shimmer reverb, tremolo reverb, reverse reverb, swelling reverb, lots of different delays with things happening in them, tape kind of wobbly, squabbly analog sounds, resonant, filtery, the old-fashioned drum echo like the Benson Echoret. And when you mix these together, you can get one of those wonderful sounds where you play in one guitar chord, go out for a cup of tea and come back and you've got an album. So that's my kind of pedal.
I must try that. That's amazing.
Another pedal that offers something very similar to the Collider, but in a different format and with its own sound, of course, is the Electro-Harmonix Ocean's Abyss. Now, Electro-Harmonix are well known for making a lot of fairly simple, small pedals, and they've got a huge range of them. But this is more of a dual reverb workshop, I'd say. It's even got a little screen where you can see little blocks on it, much as you can with some of these multi-effects units that you can buy for guitar. And you can combine multiple blocks here. You can combine reverbs, delays, modulations, distortions, and create some very complex effects. Again, good for ambient music, but also good for pretty much any style. It's not too difficult to use, and like the Encounter I've just spoken about, it has a software editor, but the software editor for this one isn't ready yet, whereas the one for the Encounter is already online and working, and I even designed a few presets for it and put them back up there because you can share sounds. So I'm looking forward to the editor for the Electro-Harmonix box, but in the meantime it's actually pretty intuitive to drive from the front panel, and it can create a lot of interesting noises. Again, so if I put this in series with the Collider, I can go out for 2 cups of coffee and come back and end up with 2 tracks for an album. But enough of my fascination with reverbs for the moment. What's next on your list, Hugh?
I like products that extend the boundaries of technology. There's an awful lot of stuff around these days which is rehashing old technologies and putting other manufacturers' old stuff in new boxes and that kind of thing, and I find those very frustrating, really. I like where companies have really pushed the boundaries and gone new places, which is why I like the Brick Lane so much. It really has taken a technology that everybody else has ignored and really done something good with it. Now, there's a company called Sound Devices, and they may not be that well known to most SOS readers. They'll possibly know about their mixed pre-recorders, which they came out with a few years ago. Sound Devices are better known in the location film and TV world, really, where they make high-end recorders for that kind of market. And they've now broken into the radio mic market associated with film and TV. And that's quite a specialist market. I mean, a lot of people will use radio mics on stage and so on. And you might just have 1 or 2 or maybe a small number of radio mics on stage. When you're doing film and TV, the fashion these days is to put radio mics on pretty much every actor. So you might easily have 8 or 16 radio mics all running on the set all at the same time. And if you've got separate boxes for each receiver for each channel, it gets really messy. Now, what Sound Devices have done, and it's absolutely incredible technology, is they have a 1U high but half rack width receiver, and it can handle 16 channels at the same time. And better than that, anybody who's used a radio mic will know that you've got to be very careful about choosing which frequencies you can use. And there are so many frequencies in the free band, and then you've got to pay for licensed bands and all the rest of it. This one box can cover every channel from 169 megahertz, which is down in the VHF band, up to 1.8 gigahertz. And it's all in the one box, and you just twiddle a knob and you can select any channel you want. It's phenomenal. The technology to be able to do that, and so cleanly and precisely, it's just awesome. On top of that, the box doesn't just give you analog outputs, it gives you digital outputs, it gives you Dante outputs. It will actually just plug straight into the top of one of their location recorders to make a completely integrated unit. It's a beautiful piece of design. And then they've gone on and done similar things with the transmitters. So there's a handheld transmitter where you can unscrew the capsule and plug in a capsule from any other company. And again, if you've tried doing this, there's the Shaw standard way of fitting a capsule, and there's the Sennheiser Neumann way of fitting a capsule, and the two are not compatible. But Sound Devices have come up with a really nice little collar where you unscrew the collar, put it in the other way up, screw it in again, and then you can take the other type of capsule. It's beautifully engineered. It's just somebody's really sat down and thought about what do people really want to do in the field and not mess about with, do it really quickly and easily, and you can just change the format. Different capsules weigh different amounts. A dynamic capsule often weighs a lot more than a capacitor capsule, and that alters the balance of the handheld microphone, and that makes it a bit uncomfortable. So what they've done is they've put a weight in the tail where the aerial sits, and you can move this weight or take the weight out so that you can alter the balance of the capsule of the whole microphone. And it sounds like such a simple thing, but it really does make a real difference that the artists will appreciate. The pocket transmitters that people use with lavalier microphones, it will take inputs from unbalanced lavaliers, it will take inputs from balanced lavaliers, it'll take an XLR cable, it'll provide phantom power, you can even plug in an AES-3 digital cable, and it'll take a digital signal. I mean, there's nothing else on the market that does anything like that. It's just so phenomenally flexible and capable. It's hugely expensive, I have to say. It's a serious bit of kit for people with serious budgets, but it's so fantastically engineered, and they've thought of everything in a way that it really is inspiring. So yeah, there's that. Very expensive, very exclusive, but a phenomenal bit of technology that I was really inspired by.